Welcome back. If you just got done watching The Skeletons, this is Downfall by Caroline Hobbs. Our home is breaking, and we have no one to blame but ourselves. We built a flawed society, and soon it will destroy itself. Though most of us can't perceive the coming doom, a hero rises to fight against the impending collapse. Downfall is the story of how we try to save society and ourselves and fail.
Aw.
So, welcome to Downfall, a
Downfall.
game made for 3 players.
Which is perfect.
It's a
One,
collaborative role-playing game for 2 to 4 hours. We make a fictional society together, and then we play out its destruction. The object of the game is to find out how our society collapses, and to make its downfall as tragic, beautiful, and meaningful as possible. Together we'll create a rich world, play characters struggling amidst the growing chaos, and witness the self-destruction of our home. Now, if you're playing in person, you'll need the following. The rules, which you can pick up at less-than-3games.com. 1 copy of each character sheet, 7 index cards, and a pen or pencil for each player. I'll be facilitating the game, because I have played before. It's also, I'm literally looking at the rules because I own them. So that works out pretty well. And Tux, I think you've read through these, right? You've read a bit of it before?
I've played it before.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Wreckage has not read through the rules, but don't worry. You'll be seeing the world through his eyes because you probably haven't read the rules either. People at
I'm
home.
like your Gary Sue.
Yeah. Marty Stew.
Okay.
And I have also had experience with this. Did a stream of it before with Eric Vulgaris and Kelsa Delphi. That was pretty... Or no. It was with Kelsa and Zircon 5. It was Virgil.
Okay.
Yeah,
My
we
first
made
time
an
was with Eric.
Amazing.
Eric took my first.
Be gentle, it's my first time.
Well, we're going to destroy everything you love. So
Oh.
it's kind of the point of the game. We're going to reintroduce everybody here because maybe you just showed up just to watch Downfall. So who knows? Dr. Wreckage, when you aren't destroying worlds and watching the slow collapse of everything you've created, what do you do and where can people find you?
When I'm not destroying worlds, I am lying motionless in a tomb as a skeleton, incapable of thought, feeling, memory, or compassion. When I am animated, all I know is death, pain, and killing. If you want to find out what life is like for that sort of entity, you can follow me on Twitter at Dr. Wreckage. Even through the countless eons of silence, I am still allowed 140 characters for a tweet. So find out what the ravings of a madman in perpetual loneliness through the eons sound like.
Yeah. Fun.
Well, Tux, hopefully you're slightly more upbeat than Wreckage is completely
Unfortunately, I'm
nihilistic.
not. I'm your king, and when I'm not busy resting in a tomb, I'm killing my offspring and losing my head to necromancers. But when I'm not losing my head to necromancers, I'm Tuxtradamus, and I do game stuff on the internets and do stuff with these fine people and tweet about it at Tuxtradamus at all the places. So thank you for watching, and thank you for joining us for this fun night of fun.
Well, I'm APGamingREAL, and if you're watching this, it's probably either on my YouTube or on my Twitch. So while you're there, why don't you go ahead, follow, like, and subscribe. Tell all your friends that Downfall is a really great game by Caroline Hobbs, and that you should pick it up by Less Than 3 Games. That's my recommendation. So let's get to destroying all these things. At the root of our society is a flaw, a human failing that will cause our self-destruction. The flaw is a social trait that most people in our society believe is beneficial. Our culture was built on the flaw, but ultimately the flaw will cause our downfall. We will choose a flaw together and then discuss what it means. So, flaws are listed on page 11.
Okay.
There are flaws such as ambition, classism, greed, jealousy, nationalism, pride, racism, and vanity. I feel like racism is a really pointed one to discuss right now. And I would like to see that one, but I can understand if people would like to back away from that.
I don't know about that. I do think it says example flaws. Can we make our own?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would feel something a little bit more because it's supposed to be the thing that we think is the best thing about our society, right?
Yes.
A lot of these seem like, oh, obviously there are societies that have felt that these things are good things, but
Right, exactly.
I would like to do one that we in the modern era actually do think is a good thing, and that
most of those apply to America that I listed.
Yeah.
a lot of them do. Like they think degree is a good thing. Yeah, it's not. Maybe something like I'm trying to put it into a simple, nice little word like intellectualism. Science, academia, maybe.
I could take like intellectualism. I could do that. Could we say it's like a form of classism then? Can we say classism - intellectuals?
Like smart people are a class above other people.
Yeah. Like everything is based off of how smart you are.
Oh yeah.
Like everyone's just like
you're,
your IQ's only 136.
Yeah, like you're rated, and you're rated and then funneled into like where you're supposed to go based entirely on your intelligence.
Couldn't even make it into the 140s, huh? Must be hard having parents like that.
I picture like babies born, they come out and like they have some sort of test that they're sure is 100% foolproof. Where it's like, oh no, okay, this baby's gonna be an idiot. He's going to the mines. Like, oh nope, this baby's gonna be a scientist, and clearly it doesn't work out the best.
Yeah, IQ gets tattooed on your forehead.
Yeah, so we need to discuss how the flaw manifests in this society. So is it a physical thing? Like, do we have how technologically advanced are we? Like, is it something that we would get tattooed, or is it literally like neon underlighting that is inserted when you're in a child because we got cyber shit?
So what I think it is that literally it is a society that at its foundation, like its founding documents, where like our nation exists for the pursuit of knowledge and the advancement of science.
Yeah.
And like over the eons that gets twisted into being like, how much are you contributing to the pursuit of knowledge and the advancement of science?
Mm-hmm.
And morals start to fall away, and like now
it's like the number of patents you have.
Oh yeah. Like you haven't submitted any research proposals in the last 5 minutes. What's wrong?
Like it, and like more ethics and morals start to fall away as people are pressured into like.
Well, no, you're getting way ahead of yourself now.
Okay,
we're talking about how the flaw manifests itself in society, and I think
so. I like the idea of like something like either like a chip or like something that presents itself that like someone could like, because I picture, I guess I might be getting a little too ahead, but I also picture like the thought police coming in being like, hey, what's your IQ? Are you supposed to be here? Like something that can be scanned or like seen very easily.
Are you smart enough to be in this particular facility, sir?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know that that for people below 100 you're only allowed in the booze house? Like
holy shit. God,
there's like bars.
So
like,
insulting.
There's like fancy restaurants where you have to show your IQ to get in. And it's like, oh, you're 159? Sorry. There's a sports bar.
Back of the line, right? Like,
yeah.
What? We only let 150s in after midnight.
This bar is only for card-carrying members of Mensa.
And it's exact to the point also. It's like you can be 159.9 and not get into the 160 restaurant.
Perfect. All right. So now we will each pick an element that inspires the setting. These elements are the foundation of the world we create. Each of us will pick an element. We're going to write it in the Roll20 chat, and then we will flip over and all hit enter at the same time.
Sure.
The elements are on page 12. There are example elements like air, blood, death, dreaming, dust, ink, gravity, the grave, islands, mountain, rain, swarm, steel, tides, and the void.
And these you can make up your own too, because these are just a word.
I mean, I have a word that I picked last time that I'm going to pick again. So anyone that watched that one and remembers it knows what I'm about to pick.
Should we pick a second also in case we all pick one? Or
No, you can pick multiple ones, and that becomes like a very important part of the world.
So wait, so we're supposed to put more than one, or can put more than one?
We each pick one, and if we pick the same one multiple times, it's fine. If you pick, for instance, air, and air 3 times in a row, air is extremely important to the society. Like, it's the only thing they think about. It's the only
Gotcha.
thing
I see
they
what you're
do.
saying.
we're literally all just different forms of gases.
So, I have mine typed in. You guys ready?
I am also ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, yeah! We gonna be Zerg, bud! We gonna be Zerg. We are a void swarm empire, baby. We gonna be Zerg.
Awesome.
Yeah, so after individually choosing our elements, we write them on the index card beneath the flaw. So, in order, we are a void empire swarm.
Yeah.
Boom. So good.
We accidentally Zerg.
Using the 3 elements,
Zerg? Like, I don't know.
we create the physical world and the haven that exists within it. We brainstorm a setting and spend a few minutes describing how each element or their combinations defines the world in the haven. So, I'll give you a short example. The elements picked are trees, ink, and noise. After talking about it for a few minutes, we decide that haven is a large forest atop an intricate series of rivers. The river water runs thick and black like ink from the tree sap that leaks into it. We live in a boisterous city formed by trees that have been shaped into buildings. The noise comes from the bustle of the city and the creaking of the trees as they twist into new shapes. Outside the boundary of our tree city are bands of rogue forest dwellers, outsiders we rarely see. Beyond the forest are hilly plains shrouded in mist.
Okay.
I would like to suggest that our haven is literally a fucking like space whale that we live inside, and like we like harvest organic material to continue our space journey, and we're like intellectually constantly trying to get technology.
We hacked the space whale into being our like home.
Yeah, and we're like always trying to give it better engines and shit, make it like biologically and technologically superior. Ooh.
I think as like a tool for like our police force to use, we've taken the antibodies of the whale and use it as like weapons and like things. So like if we need backup for something, they call in like the antibodies, and so like a swarm of things will just like
they like shoot you with a gun, but it's not a bullet, it's like a fucking virus, and the antibodies are just like, what's up, dog?
Oh my god, that's so fucking cool.
It's literally like shooting somebody with a laser tag so that ICBM comes out of the sky and hits them.
Right? Yeah, we're too smart to just shoot you. That's not intelligent enough. We have to kill you by injecting you with a virus that replicates so fast that the antibodies target it immediately.
That's amazing.
What are your thoughts here, Wreckage?
I'm going to say that void contributes to our society, not in the obvious way of that we are floating through the void of space, but in that we found ourselves in the position of inhabiting this giant space whale as a means to escape our previous home that was swallowed by the void. And our ruthless pursuit of science is in part inspired by our fear of this terminality. Like, we need to ever advance science so that we can always survive, whatever destroys our next home or this home. And yet that will be its undoing.
I feel like for Swarm, maybe everybody's connected on like a low level telepathic technological level. Like people of similar ratings, not necessarily IQ, but like a combination of things like social groups, number of patents, that kind of thing. Your like thoughts are broadcast to people in both your physical vicinity and people who are in the same like rankings as you. And so people are always hearing your ideas and maybe like working on them, maybe stealing them from you, but everybody's going in the same direction. Like when one person thinks, I wonder if I tinkered with the engine, and everybody's like, that's pretty smart, 223117. Yeah, but what if you put
Mm-hmm. Cool. So, like, are we the only space whale, or are we like the main space whale, and like we've?
I feel like we're the only space whale,
Okay.
for sure. And like we go to other planets and we like take all of their important stuff, like biological material, by shooting their people in the head, and like
Oh my god, we did.
give it to the whale for the whale to eat, so it doesn't
Oh
eat
my
us.
god.
We're the aliens now, John.
Yeah.
Is that
So we fly around in space. Okay, cool. We found a planet. We pick it clean of its smart people, steal their ideas, and just leave them to rot.
Yep. We use their bodies for food and we use their mind for ideas.
Yep. Like, oh, cool! Look, you guys figured out cold fusion. We figured that out 20 years ago.
And the
Look at
reason
that. That's so nice.
and the reason that we don't just fucking stop and like take over a planet and live there instead of on our space whale is that fucking void, whatever it is.
Yeah, we're constantly
We're running from it. We're running from it and taking everything we can along the way.
The shadow of Aman.
But if you were to ask anyone, we're not running. We're figuring out a way to defeat it.
Of course.
Of course. We need to like this is just once our science is good enough,
Right.
we will simply turn around and defeat the void.
Yeah, it'll be simple once we figure out how to do
It'll
it.
take a few, millennia. We'll get there. I love the idea that Zon came up with in chat that people walk through streets super coordinated, like perfect movement. So because everybody in the vicinity is all connected together, there's never any two people that like collide with each other. You like automatically know to give right away to higher level intellectuals than you. So you like verge around them.
Have we created a utopia where that awkward thing where two people don't know who needs to go which way
that's gone.
never happens?
That never happens.
This society is perfect. We should just stop here and go to the part where we destroy it.
Yeah, you don't do that because your mind just figure out who's supposed to go right and left by your intelligence.
It's like the Google self-driving Tesla cars, but for your mind and your own body that you have no control over.
Mind, body,
and.
All right. Haven was built with the flaw at its center, and the flaw reveals itself through our traditions. Traditions are customs, beliefs, and practices to show how the flaw manifests itself in our society. They are something we do or something we believe. We create 6 traditions that embody the flaw and show us the culture of our society. And during play, we'll watch as these get corrupted. If we had index cards, we'd be using them. Instead, we'll be making our own on the Roll20 map just by making something like this. See how big I made that? You want it to be about that big. Each of us will choose a category from traditions from the list below. We will write the category in the upper right-hand corner of the index cards, and we cannot pick the same category multiple times. The categories are examples like architecture, birth, economics, employment, family, food, grief, hospitality, military, relationships. I would like to pick the first category, and so I'm going to go ahead and pick military because I feel like that's going to be really important for our super intellectuals. It has to be done well. Yeah. What do you guys think?
I would like to see.
I think we should all pick a color, so I'm gonna swap mine out.
Yeah, my weird purple thing.
No, I'm good. You're good. I'll switch.
Okay. I'd like to see entertainment because it seems like it's something that can be very interesting. With it needs to be bigger. Size 20. Hey, be bigger.
And I think that the next thing that we should talk about is employment, because I feel like that's something that could have started out pretty okay and then definitely gone really wrong as this society gets further into their intellectual classism.
I'm gonna pick naming. And I'm not talking about naming like, oh, it's a boy, we'll name him Steve. I'm talking about naming like programming naming, like knowing the names of programs and like things to run on an instinctual level. You can be like, I'm walking forward rather than like beep boop beep boop beep boop beep boop and typing something out. You can be like run DLL 5512C-exe in your brain, and it'll like run for you. And the people who know more programs to run on like a deep level are able to do more things subconsciously. I like that. Cool naming. What about you, Tux? You got something else?
Yeah, let's go with education.
Education in a intellectual classist society? I don't know that that's that important.
That can't be like a focal point of their entire society or anything.
I think that the name Zero is the highest name you can get in the swarm. Boom. Yeah, let's talk about you, Wreckage. You are picking up the last possible option.
I'm choosing this one because I definitely want it discussed, because it's the total antithesis of everything else that we're talking about. So I want to know how the society actually deals with it. So I'm going to say art.
Cool.
I don't know that that's the antithesis. I would greatly contest that science and art are not along the same lines.
Well, then that's a philosophical debate that we can have at a different time. But
I would Mr. Spock you and say that there is nothing illogical about making something aesthetically pleasing as well as functional.
But
let's discuss it in the world while we slowly destroy it.
Yeah, sure. Let's discuss how art is different than science.
Art can be different than science, but it doesn't mean that it is the antithesis of science.
Okay.
Science,
there are right answers. In art, there are no right answers.
We each create a tradition that we will put on the top half of our card. We take turns creating traditions. We can go in any order. Think of a tradition related to a category you choose, and describe it and explain how it reflects the flaw. If you can't think of a reason why it embodies or exemplifies the flaw, think of a different tradition. After you describe the tradition, give it to the other players, and draw... Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, sorry. After you described it, write it down in the top half, and then draw a line below it. Use as few words as necessary. The important part is that we've discussed it. Other players can ask questions, but cannot give suggestions. So, who would like to go first? I mean, I'll go ahead. I feel like for naming, there's a tradition of like Java style small name first, then like capitalized names as things go down. And people who don't follow this particular setting are like outcast. And so there's like a ritual removal of the nonconformists that they feed to the space whale. So like people who try to set new naming standards are removed from society by giving them to the space whale to fuel its passage through time and space. So the tradition is the feeding of the nonconformists to JavaScript. And then I draw a line under it. Boop. Who's next?
Was that grunt a you?
I think I have an idea.
Let's
see.
Hit me with your best shot. Fire away.
I think for entertainment, like when people aren't doing science stuff and like trying to figure out like the solutions of problems and like figuring out new problems after the solutions that they've already figured out, like they seek entertainment and like seeing what they've already done, like redone. So like they're like, okay, we created the cure for the common cold. Let's write a play about how we created the cure for the common cold like 5 minutes ago, and then have these guys play it out. Like all of the entertainment
is like, narcissistic.
It's super narcissistic, like theatricized, romanticized versions of like the accomplishments that people have made. So like someone will like create the cure for like a disease, write a play about the disease, cast it, direct it, make it, and then move on to the next thing.
That's super interesting.
Yeah. So, yeah, narcissist. Yeah.
Oh my god! You realize that like every major science project just has like a director there who like writes everything down, like a director screenwriter who's like, yeah, now I'm gonna listen. We're gonna do a close up on your face during this scene when you discover Vrayfel's theory. Oh, look at the sweat coming off of him.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that anime Death Note where like half the scenes are just someone writing dramatically in a book while sweat flops off of them. It's like the majority of entertainment for the society. Like how furrowed can your brow get?
No, it can get even more furrowed.
Don't forget to draw a line, Tux. It's very
I
important.
just did.
Don't be a nonconformist.
I just
Don't
drew
get
the
fed
line.
to the space whale.
I've got the next one.
All right.
And it's for art. So at the formation of the society, when they are saying, okay, the only way we're going to beat the void is by contributing entirely to science and our own intellectualism, they put a hard stop on non-contributory anything, right? If it doesn't contribute to this goal of increasing our intellect and advancing science, it is a waste of time, and you should be fed to the space whale.
Mm-hmm.
And in service of that, over time, and now quite powerful of an organization, is a art critic Gestapo secret police that goes around and judges whether or not art is educational enough to contribute either to the intellect of the populace or to its education. And if it's not, the art gets jettisoned into space and the person gets fed to the space whale.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So I'm putting down
Can they be called the Eberts? Like Roger Ebert?
the Everts.
It's like if your
Do
art
not
isn't,
attract
like,
2 thumbs down. Thou shalt be thrown into the space whale's
like if art isn't critical enough to create enough discussion about the art, it's not good enough to be kept.
It's got to contribute to either the science or the intellect of the people. And since that's purely subjective, this secret police is incredibly politically powerful because they can just go around and be like, did you just draw a squiggle on a thing? That's one check mark, buddy. Like if you committed any more energy to that, you would be in the space whale right now.
You'd be. I mean, they are in the space whale.
You'd be like in the space whale,
Yeah,
though.
you'd be
Like,
like in the space whale.
you know what I mean? You'd be in the digestive.
I would love a cognitive dissonance where everybody's like, they like threaten to put you in. They live in a space whale, but they don't consider themselves in a space whale. They consider it a spaceship, except for the stomach, which is where that's in the space whale.
Yeah. And there's like tubes everywhere that lead to the stomach.
Yeah. They just like push people in them 300 style. And the guy's like, ah! Vacuum tube. Shoop. They all go to like one central corridor, and there's people that just spend their time thinking there and look up and see all the other people getting dragged away and are like,
Oh my god, it's like a spectator thing.
Figure out my W2.
Oh my god.
It's like fucking Futurama tunnels.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
That's guy being fed to the space whale. Interesting.
I would love it
I know
if
that
like
guy.
hipster
Oh, you know what?
thinkers go there.
I bet it was for an artistic violation. That guy was always too much of a creative.
He loved pointillism, and pointillism has never had a point.
Oh god, what's even better is because when they get close to you, being sucked through the tubes, you can like hear their thoughts. You would like hear them being like, no.
Oh god.
It was just slightly abstract.
Oh god, that's so, oh my gosh, it's so terrible.
Perfect. Look at this world you've created, Wreckage, that, I had nothing to do with.
My Gestapo feeds people to the space whale.
Who's doing the next one? You got a Space Jam. I feel like Space Jam is a very important cultural touchstone for the
Come on and slam. And contribute effectively to our scientific advancement.
I forget, do we have to choose our own tradition?
Yeah, you have to choose your own tradition.
Okay. Let's see, for education. I think we've figured out how to basically do the thing that people always joke about for like future societies and sci-fi stuff, where you just beam knowledge into someone's head. And so that's how you learn here. because obviously we've already figured this stuff out. We don't need to, like,
we're Battlefield Earthing. Got it. Yep.
We don't need to teach you things. We already like that's a waste of time. We want you to know it and then figure out how to make it better. And so we just beam it into people's heads and just like, okay, now you know chemistry. Do a chemistry experiment now, right now. Why aren't you already doing it? Come on.
You wouldn't even have to tell them, right? You just beam the knowledge that you're expected to do the experiment. Yeah. And then teacher just stands there silently waiting for you to not fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so that means it's all what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's all performance based, right? Like you just get the knowledge beamed into your head, but the passing grade is
what do you do? Yeah.
Looking over you as you've just had the knowledge beamed into your head. Like, fucking impress me.
Yeah. I think there's probably still like some sort of structure to it. So like, okay, you're like in 2nd grade, you get this knowledge at the beginning of the year, you have the year to do something with it. And then if you don't, you get fed to the space whale.
How can our society's not going to have tiers if everybody who succeeds doesn't get fed to the space whale?
I mean, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. The society's a swarm. They probably put out a lot of kids, like hundreds. Each person probably has like hundreds of children.
Right. Well, it's probably not like. It's probably just the failures get fed to the space whale. You can you can pass, but there's like tiers of like, oh well, he figured out how to like a better use of the fork.
Yes, non-Euclidean physics. He did very well with them. Very well. You passed 1st grade.
Yeah.
This is also exactly a Doctor Who episode that we've written, by the way.
So I think you need to write a phrase down.
Yeah, so
we've got it in mind what you mean, however.
Performance-based, beamed in your head. There's a sentence in there somewhere.
Based, knowledge transfer.
Sure, works. That communicates that thought.
You want to go next, Wreckage?
You're saving military for last.
I mean, I got a good idea. It's not going to be explosive. So if you've got something you feel is going to be the bomb,
I'm still mulling over employment here. I'm trying to put it into words. Especially after we've just done this education thing. Like, okay, so everyone gets every subject beamed to their head and then passes based on performance. So how do we determine employment? I feel like originally, like I'm trying to build this from the start forward, right? Mm-hmm. So originally it's like, okay, fuck, we just barely made it onto the space whale. Fuck, what are you good at? All right, good. You're doing it. You're good at that. All right, do that. And so it's like, there's no, they can't afford to have like employment like we do now, which is like, okay, apply for the job and get it.
Right.
They clearly do assignments based on what you're best at. So I'm trying to think of an interesting tradition that works into a sort of corrupted form of that. Like over time, as people had knowledge beamed into their brains and stuff, it no longer became what are you best at. It's like maybe the tradition is that everybody knows everything, but sort of in the vein of classism, like what family line did you come from? You came from the family of engineers, right? So you're just going to stay in the engineer ward. Mm-hmm. Like maybe it's even something where like the ship is in segments and all of this happens in all of the segments, but most of the people don't move between the segments. Like the engineering segment is just always the engineering segment. People are born and educated and Gestapo'd and fed to the space whale from the engineering segment.
What was that sci-fi show, Andromeda? They literally had, that was one of the major storylines, is that some guy was like born in the engineering section and he rose to become part of the command and rose to be like the executive officer, and everybody just is like shoulder tackling him constantly, just like, what's up, engineering? And he's like, I'm in command. And they're like, engineering, get back down in the mines.
Yeah, so performance, art, intellectual protocol. So I'm going to go that employment is based on, if we're going to go swarmy, maybe we can use the word like brood or something, the engineering brood.
Oh, man.
So employment and housing carried over from genetic brood.
Okay. So for military, I'm taking a bit of video game armchair generaling, and a little bit, actually most of Mech Warrior, the Clans era. So in Mech Warrior, there's a society called the Clans, and before every battle, the two commanders of like different parts of an army would face off and be like, I believe that we can fight this enemy with like 15 men, 14 of them battle mechs, and like one of them is an infantryman. And the second guy would be like, I think we can just do it with 14 mechs. And the first guy would be like, counterpoint, we can do it with 13, and one of them is a man. And they would negotiate like that. And so I feel like in the military, there's this really prideful like Monte Carlo simulation where everyone in the space whale submits a plan of attack whenever they come to a new planet. And so there's like billions and billions of plan to sort through. And there's no actual general for the military. It's just whoever plan ends up being like minimum possible resources with maximum possible output. So they try to like make it so that they aren't activating like a huge number of soldiers at one time. They just go for whatever will get the planet done as quickly as possible, but without, like turning on 50 grav tanks, because that takes too much of the space whale's energy.
Mm-hmm.
And we need that energy to make food for, the upper class. So
Yeah.
Well, it's like, what if we go eons without encountering another planet to rob? Like, we have to be incredibly efficient. I imagine they have this just incredible reserve after eons of being efficient. Like, they've had to tow a bus behind the space whale, like a space trailer. And or they've probably invented some, like, energy compressing thing where they have, like, these tubes that are filled with energy that they've just robbed from places.
Just call it Energon. It's literally
no.
One shall stand and one shall fall.
It's compressed energy. It's nothing like that.
I am,
or like they've like embedded it into the whale or something like that. Like they've like morphed, because the whale doesn't need blood anymore. We just keep the whale running, so we take it where its blood was and just pump energy through it.
And it's now like hyper efficient energy. Like a single drop is an entire sun.
Oh my gosh.
So I really want the takeaway here to be that there's ultra efficiency on behalf of like the people towards the military, but there are no officers. There's never like anybody giving orders. Your entire game plan is set out before the space whale even arrives in the solar system. Like, perfect. You sit there and for like 10 years you study and you're like, all right, I hit the ground, I go left, I fire once, I turn right, I fire again. There's a 20% probability that another enemy will be present. These are the options I will have.
The military probably loves simulations.
Yeah, like,
oh my god, simulations.
Yeah. And it's Monte Carlo style, so they literally run it like 50,000 times a day. They're just like, all right, reset. Let's do this again. Let's do this again. Let's do this again. So good. All right, we have completed our traditions first half. We now have the second half of traditions. We add a symbol to each tradition. A tradition symbol is a person, place, or thing that's emblematic of the tradition. Symbols give us additional information about the tradition and provide a tangible way to show the tradition. Symbols can be objects, tools, icons, locations, emblems, and people. For example, a white flag is emblematic of surrender. Rings represent marriage. The office of the president is a symbol of executive power. Pass your index card to the left. Add a symbol to the tradition you received. Describe the symbol, then write it on the bottom of the card. You can also draw a picture of the symbol if you want to.
Oh, more drawing.
So, as you might note, we actually do have a table here.
Yeah.
Then we will throw them to the right. So, I'm going to, Smuggy Smuggerton right here, hand one of my cards to Wreckage. And I believe I will hand Wreckage my naming card.
Okie doke.
So you will pick a symbol. Describe what it looks like, and then if you want to, I'm not pressuring you, but if you want to, you can draw something about it.
All right. I am going to say that. Do I do it now, or are we going to pass around first?
Let's have everybody pass it around before we describe something, so we can all think about what we're doing.
I'm going to pass employment to my left for Tuxtradamus to do a symbol of the employment based on your location of the ship.
All right. I'll pass entertainment over to AP.
Excellent.
Una
wanagonga solo. Yeah. All right.
I need a name. I have an idea, but I can't think. I'm not sure what the name of it would be.
I got an idea. All right. So what I'm doing is I'm drawing like a wrist-mounted projector that the director uses as like a camera and a projector at the same time. So wherever he goes, he's always like scanning people and things. And this is like anywhere you go, there's always one of these guys Google Glassing everybody. Just in case, that 10 seconds you spend looking around is like, Eureka! I've discovered the meaning of Raphael's theory of nonconformance intergalactic quantums. And everyone's like, that moment, we should capture it.
So that actually really ties into mine. So I'm thinking like everyone has one of these things, one of these like wrist things. By base function is like that's how people like you like do a thing and it displays like your like on your arm. It displays your entire genetic history. It displays your intelligence, where you were born, what your job is going to be, what grade you're in if you're in school, what your position is if you're not in school. Like all of the information is available like to officials at a thought. And then so like you can get the director add-on, so you can do this stuff for the like you can be constantly filming stuff, or you can get like the Gestapo add-on where you can
feed people to the space whale.
Yeah, where you like push a button and the nearest tunnel like vacuums them up. Or you can get the police add-on with the virus injector gun on it.
Yeah, that makes sense. So mine, to tie into the naming, and this symbol of naming is very important to the people, because when they first fled from their home onto the space whale, and they thought the void was right on their tail and they weren't sure they were going to survive, they started to create a catalog of all of the survivors. It was and now it's a piece of ancient technology, but even then it was incredibly advanced. I mean, they were advanced enough to kidnap a space whale and flee from their home, right? Mm-hmm. So it's an incredibly advanced data storage.
First off, I don't want to interrupt you, but kidnap is a very strong word in our culture. Okay?
Right.
We synergized with the space whale on an emotional and intellectual level to integrate it into our society. Please
continue. Was a collaborative effort. It was a collaboration. So we were advanced enough to collaborate with the space whale. But we weren't sure that we were going to make it away from the void. So they started to create this incredibly advanced little data cylinder that has the names of all of the survivors. And the plan was, like, if the void caught up to us, we would jettison it faster than we could travel ourselves into space as like a memorial. And this little data cylinder over time has continued to store all the names of the people born and live and die and fed to the space whale on our space whale. So it is a cylinder that people learn about in history classes especially, but also, and one day we were planning on jettisoning this into space in case we didn't make it, but now we're fine. It's just the database of all of us, and it is a symbol of naming conventions now that it is filled entirely with JavaScript names as the eons go on.
We're like a quarter light year ahead of the void. We'll be fine.
Yeah, seriously.
We've been building up a lead for the last eon or so.
I mean, yeah.
The void hasn't increased its speed in over 2 millennium. If we continue moving at the speed we're currently at, we'll stay at least 1 light year ahead.
Yeah, and given that he should infinitesimally increase his speed, we will just spend our energy reserves to go faster. It'll be fine.
We'll break the speed of light. It's fine. As long as we can just get up to the speed of light, he'll never catch us.
Yeah.
All we need to do is get to the speed of light and then stay there forever. No problem. Yeah. Let's hand all our cards to the right now. I am handing Tux my military card.
All right, I will hand, through necessity, but not that I wouldn't anyway, to my right, the Art Gestapo card.
All right. And Wreckage gets my education, the performance-based knowledge transfer stuff. So I need another symbol.
What do you hold when you're making a shape to make it a circle?
Alt.
Thank you. I always forget which one it is.
That's right, audience. Sit there and silently watch us make art.
It's so good.
You're
right?
an artist. I'm sure you're looking at what we're doing and you're just like, no, what is that? What is this abomination?
I mean, even artists, if they've ever used Roll20, I mean, it's basically MS Paint. I mean, you can only do so much. It has less functionality than MS Paint, actually.
That's unsurprising because MS Paint is an actual program. And
Yeah, I mean, I'm not faulting Roll20 for it. We're working with what we have.
have you considered getting a Roll20 license, by the way? For $9.99 a month, you too can have all this functionality, plus character sheets and an unlimited set of data, and really it just works out great. Support Roll20 by going to roll20.net, getting a premium subscription. Oh, that circle's empty. It's also the wrong color. It's also not round.
So it's not a circle?
More like an oval. It's none of the things I wanted it to be. So it's kind of exactly like Christmas.
Oh. That's really sad.
Yeah. Looks like a cool band logo.
And then move that
Big pink X's.
back. I feel like that's good enough. So this is the symbol of the Gestapo that they wear on their uniforms. No, it's on their wrist, right? It's on their wrist.
Right.
And you can
With the
see
thing?
it because of the colors. Like no one else is able to use this red on purple color scheme.
My symbol, and it's the symbol for education, is literally on the door when you walk into the school room, is the access port to the tubes that feed you to the space whale. Because the society is incredibly sink or swim oriented. It's not telling you about what you'll accomplish if you succeed. It only cares about telling you what the consequences are when you fail. So even though that's not immediately where they feed you the space whale, even the desks in the school are put over a thing that looks like the port to the space whale's stomach. Because it's
now Tommy, eat your greens, or we're gonna feed you to the space whale.
It's basically exactly that.
I wonder if we should so is being fed to the space whale is it seen as a bad thing, or is it seen as hey, either
it's efficient because you're not.
Either you contribute to society, or you're still going to contribute to society anyways by keeping us all alive and feeding the space whale.
I think it's like this. It's well, you're clearly not going to contribute with your brain power, so you should contribute with your proteins.
Yeah,
Biomass. Yeah.
Yeah. It's it's not
Oh god, I just got a super dark thing of like they don't feed them immediately. The tunnels go somewhere where they fatten them up first and then feed them to the space whale.
Oh yeah, I mean the space whale has to have at least 24% fat before it can eat something.
Yeah.
Its body is very particular.
So the tunnels go somewhere and they catch the people out of the tubes, put them into a vat or something, and just like start pumping them full of like proteins and fat and stuff.
Okay, we're
then,
like
super dark.
This is fucking real grim.
Right? I just got that terrible image in my head.
Can I just say that like after the society collapses, but before the space whale disintegrates in space, like this would be an amazing setting for like a sci-fi horror game.
Yeah.
Going through all the corridors, and it's like, why is the floor trying to eat me? And then like the final level is you get eaten, and then you're in the room where all the people are being fattened up. And they're like,
Oh, God.
help me.
On the wall, there's graffiti that says there is no cake.
Oh God.
Let's talk about military.
Yeah, so the symbol I chose for the military is the Faulkner test. So since basically like literally anything that's done in the military goes through countless simulations, the Faulkner test is the number of simulations. It's like it's a super complex formula for
Drake
like
equation.
what?
Fermi equation.
Yeah, it's like this. It basically amounts to like the number of simulations that something has to pass before it's even considered to be like an actual thing for the military. If you don't pass the Faulkner test, you're basically about to get fed to the whale.
If your idea doesn't pass the Faulkner test, why did you even suggest it? You
Right,
just
exactly.
wasted computational processes on a simulation
Exactly.
that only passes 80% of the time. Get in the space whale.
Mhm.
You think we want a 20% chance of failure? What are we, France?
We don't even get that joke anymore.
All right. Yeah. So we have added symbols and repeated. We now need to name the haven. What is the name of Space Whale Society floating against the void?
Space Force One.
No, that's really bad.
I'm not doing it as a joke. I wouldn't have let you say yes.
Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Nope.
Nope. Maybe like
Uh,
I've got this great
whale.
I've got this great idea that like the space whale was like plan C for getting away from the void, and like the name on the side is like escape plan -003, and they call the society like 3.
I have an alternate suggestion that it's called Mensa and Angel, but it's like Mensa Angel. Maybe. Because they're like super beings floating through space and they're all super smart. No, I can see you guys aren't going for it. That's fine.
It's a bit of a stretch.
Can we call them the Zerg? I mean,
Mine was also a bit of a stretch. Tux, do you have a suggestion?
Not really. I kind of like your idea. I kind of like. I think it goes somewhere where like the whole like this was like an alternate plan. So like through time, like the fact that it was an alternate plan kind of got stricken.
can we call it like Survival Plan 3? Like we're literally the survivalists of Plan 3.
Survival Plan 3, and like because it's an intellectual based society, they don't even rewrite that. It's just like, this is Survival Plan 3.
Yeah.
Like,
That's the name of the space whale too.
yeah. Welcome to Survival Plan 3. We're not sure how you came on board our space whale as a guest, but please enjoy looking around before one of our members of the police beat you to the space whale.
You are not deemed intelligent enough to stay with our society.
Tourism is not an intellectual pursuit, so we don't support it.
Exactly.
However, you are made of valuable biomass. So we're not going to look a gift horse in the mouth and jettison you into space. Instead, we're going to jettison you into our space whale stomach.
All right. At the center of our game is the hero, someone willing to stand against the flaw in the face of Haven's coming destruction. The hero is our main character, and through their struggles we will see the world fall. There are many forces at work leading to the destruction of Haven. Even as the hero works to save the world, the Fallen works against the very flaw that will destroy it. A Fallen is our main antagonist, representing the people who try to strengthen and enforce the flaw, even if it spells doom for Haven. Society also has many average citizens who are content with life in Flawed Haven. The Pillar is the character who represents those ordinary people. They accept the flaw and the status quo while ignoring or apologizing for the harm the flaw does to the Haven. We will each take turns playing the hero as Haven collapses. When you aren't playing the hero, you'll play a supporting role as either the Fallen or the Pillar.
Interesting.
So, character creation is a collaborative process. Go for the obvious, create tight relationships, and don't worry about fleshing the characters out fully. We'll know more as we play. So we begin on page 19, or with this giant hero document right here. The main character of the game is called the hero. The hero recognizes Haven's coming doom and attempts to prevent it. The hero has an occupation. Choose a tradition and give the hero a position or a role in Haven that relates to it.
Now, is it too obvious to make him a member of the Art Gestapo? Like, a la Equilibrium, you know, he's exposed to all this counterculture stuff, and eventually that's how he realizes the facade of the flaw.
That would be his rebellion, because that's the tradition he opposes, right?
Right.
He could be a member of the Art Gestapo, and then the one he opposes is entertainment, because maybe he's like part of the people in charge of like the like documenting all this stuff for these for the narcissistic projects, and like something he could eventually see like the uselessness in it.
We could also go a totally different direction, right? Like if he could be his occupation could be employment, and he could be against the education one. He could be against feeding people to this. Like, I'm just trying to think of a series of things in which he's against feeding people to the space whale. Like
well, considering how much of society is focused on that, it's going to be kind
we
of
are feeding way too many people to the space whale. Like,
I'm sorry. Do you want us to fall out of the space?
We've got plenty of stored biomass. We're doing this for no fucking reason. It's just to punish people. Like,
okay, if we stop feeding people the space whale and we live only on our reserves, we will die in approximately 7.2 millennium. Do you want that to happen? I didn't think so.
You think we won't get more reserves in 7.2 millennium?
So, can we say that he's opposed then to education, like the feeding of young to the space whale?
Yes, I think that's his rebellion.
So his rebellion, and he opposes it because he wants more people to have a chance to like grow up and prove that they're more than just the biomass that they're made of.
Mm-hmm.
I believe.
I do like him being part of the Art Gestapo, though.
Yeah, like.
Okay, so Tux, why don't you write the occupation, and Wreckage, you can write the rebellion.
Okay.
And I will describe the identity of this creature. And someone has asked, is the hero literally Zeratul? So why not have like a dark-skinned, old man? He's very old and salty, but still is strong. You know, he's not let himself go, and he carries like a very old sword, like. He doesn't have a laser sword. He doesn't have a chain sword. He doesn't have some really high-tech sword. He's literally just got a sword. Like a long sword. Made of metal. Who makes anything out of metal now that we have plastic? And,
or space plasm.
Quantum nanosteel, right?
Quantum.
Where did he get this sword in the space whale?
He's the member of the Art Gestapo, right? Like, I imagine they have... Like the liver of the space whale is just like their secret storage facility where they have all this ancient forbidden contraband. And he went in the back, and there happened to be like weapons back there that are totally out of date, but they're the only ones he could get because he doesn't have clearance to have any weapon except for feeding people to the space whales, the Art Gestapo. He can't have the virus gun because he's not a policeman.
Oh fuck! What was that guy's name?
Perfect. And I feel like because he's a member of the art, like his cloak and his sword are very much like a message that he sends to those that he enforces. It's like, I'm not going to viral you. I'm not going to shove you into a tube. I'm going to cut your head off in the ways of old, in the ancient traditions of our people.
How old is he?
Old, very old. Probably, I don't know, like 900.
Yeah, like he's seen some shit. It takes him a long time to tear down the facade of the society.
Have we moved past looking your age?
Yeah.
Can we say he's played by Common?
Yes. Yes. Yep. But like an older looking Common,
Right, yeah.
Like white salt and pepper Common kind of thing. I mean, I guess Common's bald, right? So
yeah.
You stop. Well, he's got a beard though.
Yeah.
So you stop aging at salt and pepper in this society. Like you obviously make it up to salt and pepper, but you don't go past salt and pepper.
Right.
I mean, once salt and pepper's here, it's in effect. Want you to push it.
Push it.
Push it real good. Wow, that might be the first time I've ever talked about salt and pepper in a role-playing game. So important to me, too.
We did it. Mission accomplished.
Okay.
All right, what is our hero's name?
Oh, that's a good question. I feel like Common is just a really good name. Especially for someone whose job is to, like...
Hold on a second. His name has to be a JavaScript thing, right?
Oh, that's right.
We've set this up that he needs to have a JavaScript name.
Oh, so his name would be like Common in lowercase, and then like an uppercase last name. Oh God, what if his name's just Common Man?
What if it's
commonman.js?
well, like people would go to that movie and be like, really, the hero of the story is called Common Man? Please.
No, but you don't understand. It's like a look into people be like it'd be a huge thing.
He's a champion of the common man. We get it. We get it. We get it.
No, they're aware of it. That's why they did it.
What is the dot for people? Like, what is the dot for like biological entities?
I don't know anything about JavaScript.
So Common Man dot like peep. PEP.
Bio.
God,
oh, dot bio. Yep, I like it.
Common Man.
Yeah, so his designation is Common Man dot bio.
Got it.
Yep. All right, let's talk about the Fallen.
Okay.
The Fallen actively promotes the Flaw's growth within the Haven. There are many in Haven who support the Flaw. The Fallen is just one of them. They are an antagonist who creates challenges for the hero throughout play. We first begin with a relationship to the hero. What is their connection? Family, friend, guardian, leader, or lover?
My first thought is like leader, like head of the art Gestapo, the mentor, who is like, how could you, after all I taught you, turn your back on the foundation of our society?
Look, Palpatine.
Do you know how many people I fed to this space?
I can calculate how much calories I've earned for the space whale.
This space whale can fly through space for 30 years just on the biomass I
It's
fed.
fucking Reddit gold. This user has contributed 7.2 years.
I would like to suggest that his name be like Gene Ebert. Bio.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Perfect. What occupation does the Fallen have?
Head of the art Gestapo.
Okay, we're gonna really play up art then.
It's not so much that we're playing up art; it's that like these are the people who are in the position.
This is the story that we want to see, I guess.
Right,
Yeah.
like these are the people who are in the position in the society. Like the art Gestapo are the ones who travel in between all of the other sections of the ship to hunt down malcontents and nonconformists. So
he's the reason that's the reason his last name is Ebert. His family started this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I am of the Ebert brood. You spit upon everything that my ancestors have created.
Okay, we need a person. So
We need to identify him, so let's describe him. He literally is just Roger Ebert's clone.
Not particularly menacing. Of an antagonist.
I would like Stephen Colbert, but like Colbert shows Stephen Colbert, where he's like ultra conservative suit wearing.
Right.
Yeah.
Like hardcore Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like playing a role Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
Eagles. All right.
And then Forrest, like older Stephen Colbert as well. So he also kind of has like the a little bit of white in his hair.
Well, he's got to be like 1,000 years old or something.
Right,
If our character is 800 or 900, he's got to be like that much older.
Yeah.
It's like, I was born before he invented the gene prevention of gray hair, and I actually have gray hair. And how hardcore is that?
I was there when the Void last attacked. Damn, I want to do the 1,000 years old rap from Adventure Time, but it's too late. It's not any good anymore. I don't even know why I'm talking about it. All right, so someone write down Stephen Colbert.
Clean cut, suit, old, salty Stephen Colbert.
Salty. I like that description.
I feel like a lot of the people in this society so far have been pretty salty. The Pillar is a normal person within Haven, content to live in the society they are part of. There are many within Haven who are complacent. The Pillar is just one of them. They push the hero towards accepting the status quo. However, the Pillar is not necessarily opposed to the hero. There's someone the hero can talk to about Haven. Who is the Pillar's connection to the hero? Family, friend, guardian, leader, or lover?
I think it would be interesting to see a younger person in this role. So like maybe I don't know if it would be a child of a common man, or but I think someone in a younger position would be interesting.
Like a friend, maybe, or a family. Oh,
maybe.
No, make it family, and then his name can be everyman.bio. Yep, nailed it.
Everyman.bio. Boy. I'm offended.
It's like his nephew.
Yeah, I like nephew.
Yep.
All right. What does the Pillar do? How does he uphold the flaw?
So since his name's Everyman, I think he should be like I feel like he's just smart enough to not get fed to the space whale, but not like uber scientist level. Like something that's like,
oh well, you know, I take care of the size 2 universal gears down in the engineering core. Like I know those things backwards and forwards.
oh no, like that's a respectable career. Like we need people like you.
We need people to take care of the size 2 universal gears in the engineering
Can we say
core.
he's like in the naming department because he spends a lot of time doing programming. Like literally his job is to just make sure that both the mechanical and the software work. Hardware and software of the whale.
He does the job of the main guy from Office Space where he just like looks through code all day and is just like, oh, that number needs to be a 2.
Yep.
That number needs to be a 4. Like,
all right.
But someone has to do it. Like, it's not like for some reason.
His job is literally to be an editor.
For some reason, we can't write a program to do it. It has to be a person.
Well, there always has to be a person, because if the program that was supposed to check programs was written poorly, like it would just be programs all the way down, right? So rather than have an infinite chain of programs checking programs, they just stop at one person checking programs.
Yep.
Or you know, it's probably even better than that. It's probably like, oh no, you're like one person of 1,000 people who check the code and make sure the numbers are right.
Right.
Like in a given week, you maybe make one correction.
Yep.
Amongst.
He's a Reddit. It's even worse because he's a Wikipedia moderator. All he does is like edit other people's edits. Yep. Right? He's like, no, it's actually whom, not who. Here is the etymology of the word.
Also, that's a class 3 intellectual violation, and you will be fed to the space whale.
I'm really glad. I think the best part of tonight is that we now have a joke that's going to carry on through the ages of you are now going to be fed to the space whale. Congratulations.
Let's describe what he looks like. My immediate thought is like Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone 1. He's just like this kid that scampers through the engine block and is just constantly like programming, like putting a loose thing back in, and then just like, oh no, I'm behind on my quotas. Oh!
Or
let me know if you have a better idea, because almost anything better than that.
I'm fine with plucky child sidekick, but what are you going to say, Tux?
Slightly older Daniel Radcliffe.
Daniel Radcliffe's a pretty good casting choice.
Yeah, he's a good everyman.
He's a good everyman.bio.
The good everyman.bio.
Here, Daniel Radcliffe. Yeah, nailed it.
Please make this movie happen, by the way.
He's like 15, 16-year-old Daniel Radcliffe.
That's right, Disney. Contact me. Marvel, make this movie.
I
want
think
you,
it's
James Gunn.
fame.
I want you, James Gunn.
I think we need to appeal to the people who are behind, like Alien. Like, this is really grim. This needs to be like a sci-fi.
No, there has to be a fucking happening soundtrack during the whole thing. And
No,
the people in the show are actually listening to it like, yeah.
Universal needs to pick it up, because then we can get a ride at Universal Studios where you go through Survival Plan 3.
Oh, you get fed to the space
you get
whale.
fed to the
You
space
get fed
whale.
to the fucking space whale.
Yes! Universal, call us!
You get fed to the space whale, and then you have to escape the feeding tubes.
Oh, man.
It's like a roller coaster where the coaster is the feeding tube, and then it's like the Mummy ride where like you coaster for a while, and then like it stops and plays something for you.
Yeah, like the opening is like the art Gestapo kicks down your door in the space whale and is like, you've been violating the thing. You're gonna get fed to the space whale. And they've all seen the movie, so they're like, oh fuck, and then they go down.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
So, who would like to play the hero first?
I'm fine with whatever.
I think I'd like to play the pillar first.
So we pick the hero first, and then the person to their left plays the fall, and the person to their right plays the pillar. I'm okay with starting as the hero, which would make Tux the pillar and Wreckage is the evil fallen.
I can do evil.
each of us are going to play.
Alternate, but just starting out.
Yeah, but I'm going to enjoy playing this.
Clean, old, salty Stephen Colbert.
I'm going to enjoy this.
Okay, so as you can see at the bottom of the sheets, it tells you what's happening. If you're the fallen now, you play the pillar next. If you're the pillar now, you play the hero next. Got it?
Got it.
So, the Pillars player describes a tradition being corrupted by the flaw. So, Pillar, what do you want to have destroyed first? Everyman.bio.
Go back through. Come on. First season. Okay, a tradition being corrupted by the flaw. Let's see the entertainment thing.
Very well.
Yeah.
Next, the hero will frame this scene. Afterwards, the fallen will frame a scene about the hero. And then the hero will reflect on though you do like a monologue at the end. So in this scene, we are in the space whale and we're within the entertainment hive. It's like the gallbladder. It's roughly 1 mile in diameter, and every surface is gravitationally adhesive. So there's like green screens on the ceiling, green screens everywhere. There's green screens all over the place, and floating in the center, attached by tethers that you can like ride the tether down to the center area, and it's a ball that's a command station where like master DJs are mixing music and like editing clips and putting everything together. And there's like 4 news reporters who are all doing the weather. In the center of this storm, we find commonman.bio, who's currently like berating someone within this studio for art critiques. And Gene Ebert is there, and Everyman, if you want to show up at some point, remember, let's just go over everyone's role real quick. I am here to like help the people get over feeding people to the space whale, especially young people.
I think there's a thing like if your character isn't in the scene, you can still play other characters.
I feel like your character should be here though. I feel like you should watch Uncle commonman.bio. commonman.bio.uncle.
Okay. Yeah, maybe maybe the movie, or it's your scene, so obviously, but like maybe this movie is about like a new coding language or something like that. So like I'm here as like a
expert.
Yeah, like a subject matter expert.
Right. And remember, your job here is to excuse the flaw. You're supposed to be like, but that's how it should be, Dad.
Apologize for or ignore the harm caused by the flaw. Reflect the average citizen.
Gene Ebert, what's your purpose here?
I feel like I come in a little bit later after like you've been called down here and you've been here for 20 whole cycles and you haven't fed him to the space whale. He's clearly violated our intellectual property, and like I'm here.
All right,
to just,
cool, perfect. So it starts out with in the center ball with tethers going everywhere and just this hum of people constantly talking in every direction. commonman.bio puts his hand on everyman.bio and it's just like, it's okay, just calm down. It's perfectly fine. The new programming language isn't real. It's just a fantastical quasi-documentary. You won't be fed to the space whale over this. And the language doesn't have to be exceedingly perfect. You can make one error in 1,000, and the editors won't catch it.
That's not what my job is literally to make sure everything is perfect.
I pull him away from the computer console, the holo console he's working at, and put a hand over his little wrist computer. And I'm like, no. Everything is fine. You just need to focus. This is so strange. I don't know why we emphasize overworking our young people. You need to be considering creative options and creating new art rather than just rehashing the same programming code over and over again.
No, but I don't need to. That's not my job. I like what I do.
You don't understand. JavaScript can't be the end. There has to be something better than JavaScript. I don't know if we need to go back to like Cobalt or whether it's C#, but
we're not Neanderthals.
Must be some more efficient way of structuring.
I mean, it's fine.
Machine language.
So the door whooshes open, and in perfect polished boots strides in Stephen Colbert playing Gene, and he, unlike everybody else who only wears the symbol on the wrist, he's the leader of the Art Gestapo, so he does get the neck collar one of the symbol of the Art Gestapo.
I would have thought it'd be better if there was like a holographic one behind his head.
Yes, perfect. Holographic everywhere.
It looks good. Like it looks like the thing that you would wear, like a cape would come up.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Agent commonman.bio. You were sent here 20 cycles ago. A report about a movie being made about a script that doesn't exist? A fantasy movie? You have not reported in any feedings to the space whale as a result of this. What is the cause? Was this a false report?
GeneEbert.bio.leader. There is no need for alarm here. There is no reason to feed anyone to the space whale. Everything is fine. I am considering allowing this piece of art to continue. Thinking of new and fantastic things is the purpose of our young people.
The purpose of the entertainment department is to catalog past accomplishments and showcase the glory of our scientific, intellectual accomplishments. A fantasy has not been allowed on the space whale in over 900 years.
Just because it is not allowed does not mean it cannot come to be.
I've got my eye on you, Agent commonman.bio. If someone doesn't get fed to the space whale for this, either for making a fantasy or for submitting a false report, you'll be in trouble. He strides out again.
Uncle, you really shouldn't piss off your boss like that.
So what happens is commonman.bio whips out sword.exe, his sword, and just starts, he Kylo Rens like the holo terminal in front of everyman.bio, and just starts like going around and destroying terminals all over the place, and is like shouting like, everything here needs to be purged. It's fine, no one is in trouble. Just a programming error. And I'm like, go, everyman.bio.
Yeah, everyone. He's like freaking out. Like
complete your text editing for the day. We'll cover for you.
Yeah, he's like mouth agape, eyes like wide, just can't even believe like what the hell he's even seeing.
And we see a single tear trail from Common's face as commonman.bio is like destroying this work that could be so beautiful to the people.
It could inspire them to make a new programming language, but instead it's a fantasy. It can't be allowed.
It's not even the programming language that concerns him. It's the idea of creating art out of something that hasn't happened.
Mm-hmm.
More fan art.
Oh my God, this society hates fan art.
It is. Yeah, we just established
No.
The liver of the space whale is filled with contraband fan art. This will be cataloged
because fan art is a false depiction of something. It's another mind's depiction of something that already has a depiction. They would hate fan art.
Oh man, it's redundant art.
Yeah, fan art is redundant and therefore useless. Oh my God!
We here at Twitch.APGamingREAL would like to clarify that is not an opinion held by us. we don't
only by space whalians.
Only by space whalians.
Only by those who survivalists from Project 3.
Yeah, survivalists from Project 3 would feed your fan art to the space whale's liver. And it would never be seen by the light of day again. But here to Twitch.APGamingREAL.
Here at APGamingREAL Corp, we care.
I like how you're all speaking for my channel, but sure, I don't disagree.
Are we saying false things?
I mean, just in the future, if you said that you like oranges, I don't want anybody to think that I also like oranges. I do like oranges, but
if these were statements that we were sure that you did not carry, we would not say them.
Now the Fallen frames a scene about the hero. This can be a continuation of the previous scene or something else bad happening in the hero's life. Show how the downfall develops based on what the hero did or didn't do to help the Haven. So this is like you showing the beginnings of how society will end based on either what I did or didn't do in that scene. Make life difficult for me. Tell us the scene. Assign the pillar a character, and then let's do this.
Deep in the
liver.
Deep in the liver of the space whale, in the heart of the art Gestapo, there is a big camera screen or a big view screen, and it's showing commonman.bio.protagonist, and it's showing like visions of you not feeding people to the space whale. I'm trying, like, this scene is about you in the bowels of the space whale, and this is like your final strike, right? And Gene is like, this is his last chance. This is a clear violation. If he doesn't feed this man to the space whale, then this corruption has run deeper than I thought, and we might have to do what we've done before, which is like, he's going to do a purge. Like, he's going to have to go through and all these people that didn't get fed to the space whale, which could be anybody in any of these scenes. There's going to be a mass space whale feeding. How is that a scene, though? So the pillar...
I walk in and I'm like, GeneEbert.bio.leader. Are you watching me?
Yes, commonman.bio.traitor.
Oh, snap.
You would assign the super user group traitor to my name when it is you who suppresses all artistic knowledge within this society?
My brood has maintained the course of this society for over 1,000 cycles. And you would tell me that I do not know how to run my own organization?
Perhaps it is you who needs to be fed to the space whale. Your time is coming.
Blasphemy!
We need a new brood, a new blood to direct us.
If there were any ports to the space whale's stomach in this room, I would jettison you this very instant. Instead, I will simply wait until you return to your domicile. And if you go elsewhere, the common police have been notified of your betrayal. This will not stand. In our entire history, no one of the Ebert have ever betrayed the leader or the principles that we are founded upon, there will be no safe haven for you, common man. .bio.traitor. Upon the space whale, you will find yourself digested in the colon before long. You will.
So yeah, I turn to my wrist communicator as I'm storming out, my cloak flowing behind me, my sword's edge shining. And I get on my communicator and I call Everyman, and it's a little holographic everyman.bio, and I'm like, Everyman.
Hey, Uncle.
Every. I need you to go into the naming subsystem and change GeneEbert.bio to GeneEbert.bio.trader.
I can't do that.
Why not? He will destroy you if you do not do this.
Why would he destroy me? I'm following all the rules.
He would destroy us all. The
I imagine
rules
that
are all he cares about, upholding his own social order.
I imagine at that very moment we see Everyman at the terminal, and like the request to change your name to commonman.bio.trader comes up at that exact moment. Like, ticket submitted.
Again, yeah, like an official ticket comes in, like check this file, and then it comes up in the text editor and like requested change, add.trader to commonman.bio. Like, I can't. I just got an official request to change your name to that.
Ignore it. Remove it from the system.
I can't just remove things from the system. That's not how it works.
I'm like going on my beep boop beep boop beep boop, and I'm like, fine, I'll do it myself. And I delete the request, and I'm like, I thought I could trust you, Every. I thought you were a member of the Man Brood, but you are not a Man Brood.
Ouch.
How can you say that?
I hang up my communicator, and I flutter my cloak as I enter an elevator, and a single tear falls from the same eye as before. And in the elevator, I reflect on the current status of Haven, so it's just Common monologuing, possibly set to like an R&B track in the background. If I had time, I would turn this into a rap. But
well, yeah, it's obviously a Common song.
Yeah.
Right. This is where Common does the Will Smith of always having a rap song in one of his movies.
Yeah.
What's
So
in a
he
name?
takes his sword, point down, and puts it in front of him. Puts his hand on the pommel, even as people around him are looking at him for doing this, and his head's just down, and he's like, GeneEbert.bio. No one man should have all that power.
God damn it.
It's time for the society to change.
God
The Ebert clan should no longer rule over all of us. Their control of art and their unstopping inquisition is continued to become a problem for the survivalists of Project 3. If we do not change as a society in an artistic way and continue to seek out the future, we will only live for the past. We will only live to escape the void and never for anything else. I swear by this sword, sword.exe. And I'm like, Gah! I will destroy the Ebert clan. I will save survivalists from Project 3. Like, sheathe the sword. Just go to my bunk and wait, because that's what I was told to do.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah. Now we trade. I am now the Fallen.
Yeah, I wanted to mention there was something else that the Fallen can do that we forgot to mention. Basically, the Fallen can always decide whenever the hero does something. The Fallen can always say, "But there's a consequence."
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
They can say what happens as a result of something the hero decides to do.
You can make my shit even harder.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Because the hero fails, so the Fallen has that power to say, like, okay, you went all Kylo Ren on the studio, but there's a consequence, like whatever.
GeneEbert shows up and fucks your shit up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so obviously the consequence was I caught on.
Right. Yeah. It still happened. I was reading through
But
the
the
rules.
thing is, as the fallen, you got to be like, but there is a consequence.
Yep. Yeah.
So you rally the people to your cause, but there is a
Yeah,
consequence.
exactly.
But
Yeah.
there is a consequence.
You got to do the Grand Vizier whisper too.
But there is a
But there is a
consequence.
consequence. Your extremely public display informs enforcement protocol.jpg to the fact that you are not only a
Everyone is like, no, not enforcement protocol.jpg. Even an MPEG would be better.
It's a purple alert.
The pixel count is so low. The resolution
you
is
alert them
locked.
that you are not only a nonconformist, but that you are armed. And so the police force of Space Whale, survival project number 3, sent out into the various channels and tubes and jugular veins of Space Whale, fully armed and prepared to bring you in.
I mean, before you make this too hard on yourself, you're the hero now, Wreckage. So
I'm the pillar now.
Oh, you're the pillar. Oh well.
Yeah,
Why don't you just fuck
fuck
Toxonomus' day up really
the
bad?
entire Space Whale is the entire police enforcement of Space Whale is now out to find you because you made an incredibly public display in which you were armed.
Oh, great.
All right, Wreckage. Why don't you describe what tradition is about to be corrupted by the flaw?
Well, if we're talking about police enforcement, why don't we wrap that into military? And the military is about to be corrupted by the flaw, as things slowly domino effect as we try and bring you down, and ultimately we will bring our own society down.
Okay, hero, frame a scene about yourself. Is it a reaction to the corruption or something unrelated in your life?
I feel like we've done a thing like in movies where like all the shit happens and then we kind of go back a little bit to explore some stuff just because like we very much set like, oh shit, like this is like the climax thing. So I think maybe it's like a scene.
I don't know. We could keep. So my thought is we could keep going with the military, and like the military is tasked to hunt you like a citizen militia's form, but they're just so incompetent. Like they're not good. And that common man.bio is literally, this is what he does for a living, is like avoiding people and then stabbing them with swords. I feel like this is very second act and not third act, but we can go backwards in time if you want to. Hit me with the idea.
I was gonna like, I was thinking it could be cool to see like, cause like he's already made his huge declaration. I thought it could be cool to see like maybe like one of the first times he was like starting to think about this. So maybe like I was thinking like we go back a little bit. So like, we see common man.bio. His beard is a little less salt and peppery to show that he's a little bit younger.
At least 100 years.
At least 100 years younger. And he is he's like checking out the scene of where they're making the documentary about the creation of the Faulkner test. And so he is like kind of like he's overseeing it to make sure that like everything's going okay. And maybe Genie.bio is there. I think maybe like something like maybe like they dramatize something that didn't actually happen that Common like sees as bad. Like they lie about something, but like it's done so that they can like inspire people to do to do better. And like this is kind of where we start to see Common Man's like this is wrong. Why is this a thing? Yeah, so like we're like in like the cutting room looking at like a scene, and Common like points up and like that didn't happen. Shouldn't we should change that.
Ebert just looks on. It's just like,
That's the exact opposite of what happened. He didn't. That's not even the person that came up with the Faulkner test. That's whoever. This is a lie. Shouldn't we need to?
Are you saying that my ancestor, Roger Ebert.bio, didn't come up with the Faulkner test? Commonman.bio, you seem to be varying from what's being taught in schools. I hope you don't have to go back in for re-education.
No,
You know what
of course
happens to
not, sir.
those who don't get re-educated? They get fed to the space whale. I would hate for someone as old and experienced as you to have to go through re-education.
Of course. I want to do well at this job, and I thought that we should change it. But if we shouldn't, then it's fine. We should keep it as you say. And this is what we kind of see him like stoically like watching like shake his head one more time, just like he like knows it's wrong, but he can't say anything about it.
Oh man, I really want to just screw that to you. Like, be like, commonman.bio, you seem to have a problem with this declaration. Looks like it's been at least 2 cycles since you sent anyone to the space whale. Perhaps you need to send someone to the space whale in order to get back with the program.
Of course. Do you have any recommendations?
Well, here's a list. I find that sending people to the space whale makes me feel better. Doesn't it make you feel better, commonman.bio?
Absolutely, all for the survivalists.
All for the survivalist. Project 3. Bridge 4. All right, no one's going to get that, except maybe Arisato.
Cool. So yeah, the Fallen gets to set a scene.
I do. I'm going to frame a scene about the hero. And I would love to see a time in the hero's life. So it's like the hero reviewing all of the canceled fantasy movies that have ever been shown. Like science fiction, fantasy, really anything that's ever been created that that doesn't exist. And he comes across, he's in the liver. Okay, he's in the liver. So he's in like the Art Gestapo headquarters, and he comes across like Betamax tapes of Top Gun. And that's when Gene Ebert.bio is watching him on his creepy like 1,000 screens of death, sees that happen and makes that one screen like the whole screen.
Yeah.
And is watching from like 3 rooms down. So what's happening with you? I'll see it and I can interact with it.
He's watching like the volleyball scene or something like that.
This
like,
is also where like all the subtle hints that this is the future of our society just
Yeah.
fall over into this is the future of our society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he's like watching one of the like the scene where they get back from their run, and he like pulls up his wrist communicator, and he Everyman, like he calls Everyman, like Everyman, I'm gonna send you something.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, I found something at work I thought you might like.
I mean, I don't think you're supposed to send me anything from your work.
Don't worry about it. If you don't tell, I won't tell.
It's not my designated time for entertainment.
You could take a break, right?
No, that's actually not how that works. How
many edits have you made today?
I mean 1, but that's a lot. Like it could be 2 today. It's a real heavy day.
You can just here. It's really simple. You can play it on your wrist. Just watch it while you're editing. It's fine. He sends over the file.
So while you're about to send it over, GeneEbert.bio cuts your connection and contacts the pillar, in this case, TimGunn.bio, who is another member of the Art Gestapo.
Of course he is.
And it's like, TimGunn.bio.
Yes, Ebert. GeneEbert.bio.leader.
I need you to look in on commonman.bio. I believe he is coming to possession of certain goods. Just make sure to take them away and put them in the space whale.
Yes, dot leader. Does he need assistance?
Surprise! for your knowledge of Top Gun. Now it will be destroyed forever.
No.
No one will ever have knowledge of
Tom
Top
Cruise.
Gun.
No. Awesome.
So yeah, what happens when TimGunn.bio shows up in the room?
So the door switches open. Commonman.bio.
TimGunn.bio superior.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have been instructed by GeneEbert.bio.leader to assist you in the disposal of this particular piece of contraband. It no longer provides any context here in the liver to help us identify other pieces of malcontent. We are to feed it to the space whale. And
He looks back like at the scene, like whatever scene was playing, and then looks back and right, sure, of course.
I do not know why you needed assistance with this, commonman.bio, but I am happy to help. Jettisoning things into space and/or into the space whale's stomach is one of my favorite pastimes. Do you prefer space or stomach on this particular piece of contraband?
Space. We should just get this out. Make sure it's not going to be any value. So we should just make sure it just totally leaves.
Yeah, so he just walks over and rips it out of the Betamax player, like doesn't even eject it properly. Why would you? And it's like, would you like to come for refreshment after we jettison this into space? I find I could always use a cold one after jettisoning contraband into space.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Good. We can talk about other times that we've jettisoned contraband into space.
GeneEbert.bio.leader is working, like he's seeing this happen, and he puts it back in the upper right hand corner, and like leans back and just goes, "Excellent. Now knowledge of military structure will remain contained. No one will ever question my rule over the military's Monte Carlo simulations. I am in command now."
The evil genie person.
All right, Hero, reflect on the current state of Haven. I don't know if you want to do this in the bar. That seems like the perfect place to do it, though.
God damn it.
Monologue at us. Briefly narrate your thoughts and feeling about
bitch.
Haven as it reflects into the previous two scenes.
I think we see him in the bar, drinking his Neuro beer that's designed to
Stimulate neuron firing.
neuron firing and enhance brain function for a time.
It's Booster Blue.
so we see Common Man huffing paint. No, yeah, he's like drinking a thing and like yeah, maybe like TimGunn.bio is like went off to go to the bathroom or something, and we see him looking over like at a pair of young people. Like I think we see like a similar scene to what happened to him. Like we see like he sees like some young people like talking about something, and then like a Gestapo agent like goes over and talks to them and like, hey, knock it off, and like they apologize and like just go back to talking about their their science that they were talking about. Like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if this was a thing? Like and they go back to talking about like real stuff, like the actual science projects. And like Common like shakes his head and just like kind of like kicks the bar underneath him, and it's just like it's fucking not right. And then it kind of closes it on that.
Wee woo, wee woo.
I believe that makes me the
everyone.
pillar now, right?
Yep.
And I'm the hero.
And I am the fallen.
I want to
am-
ask if we can make this the last iteration. Like this is the destruction of society.
Sure, makes sense.
Yep. So this has to. So we're framing scenes up to the destruction of society.
At the end of this, we're done.
It's the collapse. Yeah, at the end of this is the collapse.
The final scene, each player narrates a short vignette from the hero's perspective about the Haven as it collapses. So yeah. All right, so I'm the pillar, right? So I get to pick a tradition that's being corrupted. I mean, it's hard not to pick art.
Yeah. So,
Are we going even farther back in time and watching the rise of GeneEbert.bio over CommonMan.bio for leader of the Art Gestapo, perhaps?
no.
I don't know, because
We're-
I don't frame the scene. The hero does.
I'm going to frame the scene. This is after your heroic speech, and everything's coming to a boiling point. And the hero's going common man dot bio. He's going to take his sword and his cape, and he knows that if he can just make it through to a central connecting point that connects the liver to the rest of the space whale, and he can sever that connecting point, then GeneEbert.bio.leader and his nefarious ongoing plan to take over the rest of the superstructure of society. He'll be cut off. He won't be able to issue any of his orders or interact with any of his command functions. His plan will collapse under itself as the policemen go through and sort of wipe out everyone that they think is a nonconformist. And maybe the rebellion won't happen today, but at least Gene won't be supreme commander of survivalist project number 3. So he's going, the scene is like this. I'm going to make my way to the pillar because I know that he has access to an engineering port that would get me to where I need to go. So I need to convince him finally to let me in so I can sever this connection. So there's probably scenes of me fighting my way through the like every once in a while, like I come down a corridor and there's some space whale police. They're like, freeze, and they shoot a viral vial like a dart, but they're darts, right? They're projectiles, and so he can deflect him with the sword. And they've like no one's ever done that before. They've never even tried. Because they've just like, oh, I'm gonna get shot by this thing. I'll just stand still. And
so they freak out and like why aren't the vials working?
He seems to do, sir, I don't understand. Like there's all these reports coming in and he just slices his way through, and then finally there's a frantic ping at the domicile of everyman.bio. Ding dong. You can pick up the franticness. There's an inflection there.
Yeah, so we get, I mean, he's already got naked, so we get Daniel Radcliffe in just boxers, really tight black silk boxers, shows up with, you know, some very well-defined pecs that have clearly been airbrushed in afterwards. And he's like, oh, CommonMan.bio. I'm not supposed to be up for at least another 2 cycles. I'm currently resting in my feeding tube for refreshment and entertainment. What's going on?
Everyman.bio, I need your access protocol to port 57J.
Well, I can't give you that. It's my access protocol.
Yes, I know, but everything fringes on this.
So he scratches his butt and he's like, define everything.
The Art Gestapo is corrupt. It's been deleting things that it should not be deleting. GeneEbert.bio.leader is making a play for the superstructure of the rest of Survival Project number 3's society. I need to get to port 57J because I can sever his connection to the hive mind and prevent him from taking over everything. You have to believe me. Think of all the good times we've had together.
And we see like he goes from scratching his butt to like beep boop beep boop beep. Don't worry, everyman.bio. It'll be fine. Just here. And he like hands you some pills. These will help calm you down.
I've already taken the prescribed number of calm down pills. This is not a situation where it is intellectually viable to be calm.
You've just said that you're in intellectual distress, Uncle. Don't worry, everything will be fine. GeneEbert.bio.leader will be here soon, and he'll explain everything to you.
What if he's a liar? Search your education banks. You remember that people used to lie.
Search your education banks. You know this to be true.
Lying is illogical. There's no way any of the Ebert clan would ever lie. What a waste of cycles.
I think on the
Is this another one of your flights of fancy, Uncle? Are you trying to get me to write a script for you? I'm very busy with the text editing tomorrow.
Damn it, everyman.bio. If you won't help me, I'll have to take what I need from you.
Then he like holds up the pills. He's like, good, excellent.
and he slices off your hand, which has
Pain.exe!
Pain.
and he picks up your identifier bracelet that's on that arm, and he's like, "I'm so sorry.
I need that. That's mine, Uncle."
I didn't want it to be this way, and like your hand like falls out of it lazily, and he runs down the corridor with it.
This is a good place to consequence Fallen, just in case you wanted to.
I have an idea for the yeah, so as you run away with the hand,
You have to say the words.
but there you slice off the hand of your nephew and steal his access code, but there is a consequence.
No, come on. You have to say the words.
But there is a consequence.
I did, but there's a consequence.
Oh, come on, Tux.
You have to mean it.
You have to
But
say
there is a consequence.
All right, good enough.
We see as commonman.bio runs, we see like something in the wall like turn, and like as like the camera gets closer to it, we see it like as if it's a lens that's turning and like zooming in on something. And from there we fade. And so now it's now iframe is seen.
Yep.
So Common Man gets to the thing where he's supposed to get to. Like this port that he's trying to cut off, and he got through, and he's at the place where he's supposed to cut it off. And there's like a screen there that you would use to like contact that would use like a communicate, so like you can be like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to do this one, right? And as he gets there, the screen comes up, and it's geneebert.bio. And he's got like a glass of like neuro scotch or whatever. And it's like it's
just normal scotch. I took it from the contraband section.
And he like sips at it, and they're like, "Not trader, you know this. There's no point to this.
You're the only dot trader on this space whale.
Not according to the records.
The records have been falsified. You spit in the face of everything you've ever taught.
Records are all that matters.
If records are lies, then they are fantasies. You told me to eject fantasies into space, and yet you reject fantasies into our society."
You know, everything starts off as a fantasy. And then it becomes real when we make it real. You know it's going to be real very soon? And he like pushes a button and the screen changes, and like it's like coming this summer. And it shows a trailer of like all the footage of Common Man doing this stuff, but it's been framed that Common's the bad guy. And so it's like Common's trying to destroy the society by like ruining all of the records and like killing people and like deleting stuff, and like it shows the scene of him cutting off every man's wrist, and then like when he runs away, it's like a digitally animated scene of like every man like crying on the ground, like, "No, but you were my uncle, how could you?" Like something really, really sad and stuff. And then like the downfall of commonman.bio. Then like do, and then it goes back to every man, or back to Genie per. And anything you accomplish is going to be ruined when this goes out.
I don't care what the history books say about me. If I sever your connection to the hive mind, you won't be able to make your power play. Even if the change that this society now needs doesn't come in my lifetime or the next 1,000 cycles, at least your corrupting fantasies will not guide its hand.
I don't really care if it's me that does it, as long as it happens. The Ebert clan will rule forever and keep survival plan 3 where it needs to go.
And where does it need to go, gene.ebert.bio? Centuries of falsifying fantasies.
Wherever the void isn't. That's all I care about.
If we don't feel and make art, are we not as bad as the void? He tries to put in the code to open the access port to try and sever the connection for gene.ebert.bio. And somehow this all has to fail, but I'm not sure where that failure comes in. Especially in a way that allows him to do vignettes afterwards.
Maybe we let this fade. You do the reflection while you finish the code, and then we can move into destroying Haven forever. Which would be a possible consequence of the code, right?
Like beep, 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 beep.
So yeah, like give us your thoughts.
So as like the monologue comes over, like the muted and slowed down noises of putting in the code, and you hear him say, "I don't care what he says, and I don't care what people think about me. Haven's fervent support of intellectual classism will one day destroy it, but if I can stop Gene Ebert here and now, I can prolong that terminus for as long as possible. The people on this space whale are good, and they deserve to survive the void. If I can give my life to prevent the fall of this society, then I will. If I can give my reputation to prevent the fall of this society, then I will. This is my moment. This is the moment of the future, the end of the Ebert clan, when the cancerous, shriveled-up liver is jettisoned from the space whale. There will be no more brood Ebert."
Do you want to do your conclusion now? Do you want to collapse with the ejection of the liver of the space whale? The glorious liver coming right out of the whale's butt, fired directly toward a nearby sun. In slow motion while Thus Spoke Zarathustra plays. Also spake Zarathustra.
Yeah, I that can be the ending.
I mean, you tell me. You tell me how it happens.
So you do here's reflection, and then
Right, collapse after the final scene.
So, yeah, so the
player
pillar
narrates
starts.
short
The pillar
vignette.
starts with a vignette.
No, anybody can. Each player.
Pillar takes the index card with the Haven information and flip over the character sheets. The player with the index card narrative a short vignette. Okay, right. The player with the index card narrates a short vignette of the Haven pass. So I think we do a vignette for each of the cards. Is that how that works?
Well, just a vignette to like, kind of show what happens as a result of all the stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Hero frames the first scene. The Fallen frames the second scene. Frame scenes answer the where is the hero, who is the hero, what is the situation. Or no, these are the first.
That was
We're
up there.
just doing the collapse, man.
Okay.
It's
well,
literally we can go in any order and we just talk about.
There's the character sheets. The player with the index card narrates a short vignette of the Haven.
So far behind.
Well, that's okay. That says collapse right there.
Okay.
I'm just trying to read the rules, man. Looks like the index cards are involved somehow.
All right.
I don't know. Okay.
I apparently go first. And so what happens is, with only one hand, everyman.bio sets his people free and descends them into chaos by typing out a specific command. He executes it as erase.rar, which will wipe out the mainframe, with the exception of uploading the Unix operating system throughout the facility. So everyone has their own fully customizable, possibly UI-less, GUI-less, whatever they want to do, they'll be able to do. The Archistapa won't be able to control their desktop space.
Well,
I'm sorry, I mean, go ahead. I mean, if you have...
Well, because he's supposed to fail, so...
You don't... I mean, this is the collapse. We do it from it's from the hero's perspective.
Well, because what he did is supposed to fail.
But during the collapse, what you narrate happens, but it's Haven collapsing, and so society would collapse without it. I'm not sure we're talking about the same thing.
Arthur is saying that the hero succeeds, but his efforts cause society to fall apart, not that this hero fails to prevent the falling. It's, misguided he does.
I mean, this is just my first step here. Is that the connection that everyone feels, the like thought connection, everything that we currently have is erased, and all that's left is Unix.
Okay.
Who wants to narrate the next leg of the collapse?
So society is freed from the censorship of the art Gestapo and has freedom to create and do whatever they want. But
for a few seconds until the hero, blows out the liver.
Well, no. So that's exactly what happens is like everyone has freedom to do whatever they want, but they've lived in a society that's been completely controlled and completely stagnant for their entire lives. And the only thing that could have provided context for that and given them the necessary tools to be creative again was jettisoned into space in order to stop Gene Ebert. So they have none of the backlog of artistic context, and they end up just doing the same thing anyway, except now when someone just kind of doesn't want to do something, they don't get fed to the space whale. So it's like creativity doesn't come in so much as like laziness starts to creep in. And people are like, you know what, I'm just not going to show up for my cycle today. I'll just sit here and watch the thing. I'm going to go for an extra round in my nutrition tube.
All right, Tux, bring us home. Completely destroy us forever.
I'm gonna riff off of that, and so we see someone in engineering, like however many cycles later this is from from Common Man's demise. Now that people are kind of starting to like get lazy and like not really care about what they're doing, someone in engineering that was supposed to keep track of the propulsion didn't show up, and we see like the space speedometer of the space whale, and we see like 1.26 light years.
I'd love it if there's like minimum speed to evade the void.
Right, yeah, exactly.
And it goes under that.
1.26 light years, and then just like 1.25 light years. And like we see this like just go down one, and no one's there to like do anything about it. So
I think it like Arthur says is there's the gauge that says like minimum speed to evade the void.
And we just like barely
over
go past
time,
it.
and it goes just barely past it. And it goes black, boom, like just goosh, end of movie, credits roll.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about how we like Downfall. I, of course, thought it was pretty good.
I really like Downfall.
I love destroying things.
Mm-hmm.
I always love destroying empires too. Empires fall.
I like how you build a society and then you have scenes in it. I think maybe that there could have been more freedom for doing scenes. Like I would have been interested to, like if we were doing 4 hours instead of 2, right? Like if we had planned for Downfall to go for 4 hours, I would have liked if there was some rules that were like, and the fallen pillar or hero don't have to be in this scene at all. Let's just suggest a scene for some random part in the society that might be interesting to do and do that. Because like I like how the characters are focusing, but I don't like that, they're in some ways limiting as well. They always have to be in one of the scenes that you do. So I would have been like to see things that
because we were kind of limited by the time and everything, but like when your role doesn't have to be the character, like the pillar can play another character, like as long as you fulfill your role
like
of
Tim
like,
Gunn bio.
Right, exactly. Yeah. The fallen can play other characters as long as you're in the same role, and the pillar can play other characters as long as you're in the same role. So we could have seen other things with like other parts of society as well. And we saw a little bit with Tim Gunn, but yeah.
So could other people be heroes too? Like, could there be more than one
hero?
hero?
Only one hero.
Yeah, I think there's only
you
one
can
hero,
kill a fallen and replace them, but there's only ever one hero.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, so yeah, I would like a little bit more freedom, but that's just me. I think, especially like if you want to play for 4 hours, here's some like miscellaneous scenes, like pick a tradition you haven't visited yet, and let's talk about the people who do that or something.
Mm-hmm. You edge cased us very quickly with the whole "you're under arrest, you're a .trader now" at the very first scene. Like
super cool though. Just
.trader was great though.
We just like hit the shit.
And then what did you say? You would apply the major, the hyper group,
the super user group,
the super user group trader. That was great. That was such a great line.
Yeah.
Really good.
So you can pick this game up from less than 3games.com.
Do it.
Which is fantastic. Support indie publishers and shit like that.
Yeah, two indie games today. They were both a lot of fun, and both of those publishers deserve to make bank off of creating this entertainment.
Some sick cash, y'all.
Take it to your local gaming store, have a game night, or do it online using Roll20 LFG or Reddit LFG.
All right, let's do some outros. I'm APGamingREAL. I have a schedule of shows. You can find that by going on Twitch and clicking the schedule button on my panels. I update it constantly. It's great. Tomorrow night, we've got Winner's Edge stories. It's like Winner's Edge, but with more stories and with less actual Winner's Edge.
Interesting.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Follow, like, and subscribe. And if you're watching this on YouTube, check out all the other cool stuff I do. We've got like 900 hours of tabletop role-playing game content from over 25 different systems now. I just added skeletons to that. What? Dr. Records, let's talk to you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Records. You can follow me on Twitter at Dr. Records, just like you put underneath my name. I do playing in games and GMing games on people's channels. The next place that you can find me will be Wednesday here on APGamingREAL's channel, where we will be doing Star Wars Edge of the Empire. Both of these people are in it, and it's a lot of fun. We will also be doing a brand new game on Thursday called Fulcrum, which is superhero stuff. It didn't go up this week, just like I feared. One of our players was unable to attend at the very last minute, but we are all super excited for it. So please attend at that time. And then you'll be able to find me Friday here with these people again, playing Mistborn, probably still Alloy of Law. But it's always a good time when we get in together in a game and have a blast. So if you liked what you saw, you should definitely keep coming back for more.
Coolio.
Yep.
Well, I am Toxtradamus. I also do the gaming streaming stuff like these fine gentlemen. You will find me here tomorrow for said Winter's Edge stories. We're going to do some Q&A kind of stuff in the first part, and then we're going to take the three of us that are here and kind of explore some stuff about their characters and have like a kind of each a segment for each of that'll focus on each of them. We're going to see some younger Saltho.
Wow, that's a really great idea.
Yeah, it's gonna be really cool. I think it's gonna be really cool. Like Wreckage said, Wednesday we'll be back for some more Star Wars, and then Friday will be Alloy of Lawing with a very special guest, and you can see who that is if you show up next Friday.
It's Whoopi Goldberg.
It's Whoopi Goldberg. It's gonna be awesome.
Nope. So we're gonna host after this. If you like Overwatch, stick around because you'll be watching it. And if you don't like Overwatch,
that's a problem.
No, it's not a problem. You know what? Make your own decisions in life. I'm not going to judge you for the things that you like or don't like. To some extent. I mean, obviously, if you like some really atrocious shit, I'll probably judge you for that. But yeah, thank you for joining us tonight.
I miss you, Sci-Fi. Please come back.
Sorry, we love you.
Consider finding out more about Jason Morningstar, Caroline Hobbs, and just watching reading all their RPGs because they make good stuff. All right, have a good night.
Good night. Thanks for watching.